Splish splash, I was taking a bath. Long about a Saturday night. Yeah, rubbed up, just relaxing in the tub, thinking everything was alright. Well, I stepped out the tub, I put my feet on the floor. I wrapped the towel around me and
Welcome guys, we are the Stock Snipers, and welcome to our first ever Tub Talk with one of our first members, Sniper Dave. So first things first, we'd like to thank you for joining us, Dave. Sniper Dave in the house.
It is a Saturday, beautiful Saturday in Florida,
nice
man.
day.
So thank you for taking your time off. I know you're busy on the week. You do have a full-time job, right?
I do work full-time Monday through Friday.
Yeah, where do you work
8
at?
to 6 p.m. I work for a financial solutions company in Plantation.
Nice, dude.
Nice.
Cool stuff, man.
And
Cool.
do you work there or do you work from home?
No, I actually work there in Plantation. It's about a 15-minute drive, but I do work about 50 hours a week.
And what times are your usual shifts at work?
I get there around 8, and I usually leave at 6, but sometimes I can get out at 5:30. Just depends on how the day is going. But that's Monday through Friday.
I think that's a perfect example of what we got, man. What we have going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect way to dive in.
Talking to so many people, there's so many different excuses out there. And the fact that you're working not only 40 hours, but 50 hours a week and able to, do that, how do you do it? Like,
Well, I think, obviously, starting with the Stock Snipers, like you guys have a setup that's pretty convenient for me because, I wake up in the morning and I can see the watch list from the night before. I can kind of see how the market opens, and then, you guys have the sniper scope at 3 p.m. So for me, like, depending on the day, I can look more throughout the day than maybe some other days. But on the days that I can't, I kind of just check in a few times throughout the day, and then I usually try and make sure I got a little time around 3:30, and then it's kind of when I kind of go in. So to this point, it hasn't impacted my work.
Nice, man. So this is actually really interesting. This is actually really interesting because you're working what, from 8 to 5 technically,
8 to 6,
in a way, 8
yeah,
to 6.
yeah.
And a lot of people are saying they don't have time for this. So you are usually working in the normal market hours, which open at 9:30 and then they close at 4. So you're at work the whole day.
Hold it.
So cool thing, I want you to run us down really how you do. So you wake up at 8. The market, you're looking at the market right away. What do? You're starting off right away at the market?
Do you start with the chat on your phone, or do you wait till you get to the
No, I usually wait till I get to work. I get to work around 7:50.
Oh wow, so you're there
So
early.
I usually pop on the chat around then.
see those little news alerts in the
Yeah,
morning?
see the alerts you guys
I try to
give.
get those in.
I usually don't get to take a look at the watch list from the night before until that morning. And I'll kind of just take a look at some things there and kind of evaluate it. Then usually I look more in the chat around 9:15 and see some of the stuff you guys mentioned there as well.
Okay.
And then depending on that, I decide to make a move or I just kind of watch. And for me, watching has definitely been helpful. Something that's been helping me a lot. Like looking at what you guys say, and not necessarily acting, but just kind of watching what happens, and then trying to identify patterns and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So once it gets going at 9:30, depending on my day, I'll possibly get into a trade, or usually the mornings are a little busier for me than the afternoons, so I tend to focus more in the afternoons. But it just depends on the day, and if it happens that it's a busy day and I can't do anything with the snipers, then it's okay. It is what it is. Like,
That's the best
I like
thing.
that.
You can take a day off.
Yeah.
Right, and that's like at first, I was super like into it, and like I wanted to keep trading and stuff like that. But like I obviously have a job right now as well.
I try not to annoy you about being patient, but
Right.
I do say it extra.
Right,
Extra.
right.
And that's for a reason. Because we've been there, we've done that. We're trying to get people like brand new people like you to figure out, be patient. The plays are gonna come. Every single day, you don't have to jump into something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not like you
This
gotta
is-
make money every day.
Like this is like a kind of like a unique market that we play, right? It's not really anything you've been experienced, like have you experienced before, like from past investments or anything like that?
Yeah. How did
right?
you get into this
No,
investing with us and all this stuff?
So I have started investing in cryptocurrency about.
He's a Bitcoin investor.
Wow. That was your first
He's a
investment
Bitcoin
ever?
investor.
Was that your first-
I knew it with the
first time you
fedora
ever
hat.
started,
I
like,
knew it.
outside your 401k, I guess.
Outside of my my 401k and some life insurance and things like that, this was the first time that I got my feet wet with something that I'm going to be actively following.
Nice.
So about a year and a half ago, I did get into Bitcoin and some other cryptocurrencies, and
So you
Eh,
rode the hot wave.
oh, I was riding the wave. you know, and then last summer it actually took a dive, and I was kind of down on it, and then
If you didn't know, it did take a dive.
right.
If you guys.
So for me, like, it took a dive, but I was still up because I had invested like February, so I was still up, and then, you know, you guys may have noticed, I'm sure, like that it blew up, and everyone was making insane amounts of money.
If they took out.
Right. So I was up about 25 grand off about an $8,000 investment.
What? No way.
That's why I was so excited.
And
Wow.
and
So you saw how to multiply money.
and
kinda
yeah, and
it's a market
I
fit.
freaked out and like I didn't know what to do and stuff like that.
I think
so-
I remember seeing you in the gym.
Yeah, I was-
remember we talked about it. I
Yeah.
was trying to tell you to get out.
You were. So
I love that though.
yeah, I remember the conversation.
Dude, I was like drilling it in his head because we've been through this as us three
Yeah,
together.
like, it was
When
similar.
we
We've
started,
seen the pops like that.
Well, when we started investing, it was the marijuana boom, and I was explaining to this in the gym. I really was like drilling it in his head. I'm like, dude, I thought this marijuana thing was gonna be the best thing ever in 2013.
For sure,
Like,
dude.
I was like, dude, I found the companies that were about to be Apple and marijuana. Like, I
said we got
I
it.
turned my $4,000 to 16,000, and I was like, it's fucking like I
Right.
found gold. And
Yeah.
like that's how you were thinking too.
Yeah.
So-
well,
so-
big shout out to anybody who was watching at that time. Can V, Medbox. You saw the
Yeah.
craziness that was happening back in the day.
It happened. I mean, it was possible.
Yeah.
That's what gave us the vision. So you got the vision
Yeah, that's
too,
kind of how we
from
like
Bitcoin.
got the hunger.
So I did actually take out about 5 grand, which I'm thankful I did. But now, I mean,
Nice.
that 20 grand I left on the table, like I'm still like with what I invested pretty much. Like I'm not down, but like I left 20 grand on the table. And you know, as
That and
someone
the
who's
car,
a
a
middle
nice
class
car.
working man, like I mean, you know, it's
a half
crazy.
year's
Like
work almost,
I do
dude.
think about it actually like more often than probably I should because it's, you know, it gets frustrating.
sense.
But you know, like
It makes complete
I guess
sense.
because of that, you know, like my take on cryptocurrency was just that while I believe in the technology, the actual trading of it not being regulated and just pretty much being a free-for-all is just, it's just not logical. And I think, you know, that's kind of where I still have the money I have in there because it's money that I have lost, but like I have not put new money in at all in months.
So to kind of dive into it, because a lot of people don't realize that there are returns in the stock market. I mean, Bitcoin market had the crazy returns, and people got to see that live. A lot of people talked about it. CNBC was talking about it. People, like normal, big-time companies that usually don't talk about these penny stocks that we do, they were talking about it. So it was noticed that it's possible. But isn't it the same exact opportunity in the market with what we're playing with?
Right.
kinda?
But every day. In a
Right.
way,
Well,
in a way.
I think the market is a lot more logical and it's regulated. And there's been situations in cryptocurrency where someone will pump something up and dump it within like 5 minutes, and you're out thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Without
You know, like so for me, like, you know, I did learn a little bit of technical analysis with cryptocurrency, and I did try and spot some patterns and stuff like that. But
That's awesome.
it obviously made a lot more sense when I started dealing with the stock market because the stock market actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it wasn't.
You
me
can
to-
get in and out whenever you.
And I think another thing to your
If you have a
point.
day trade.
To your point, yeah, of course. to your
Dave
po-
has those beginner problems sometimes.
to your point though, like one of the big issues with cryptocurrency also is that you can't hold cash. Like you're holding Bitcoin. Like so, if I do a trade, I'm holding Bitcoin. If Bitcoin crashes,
That's what I don't like.
yeah.
Yeah, like what did you do with your profit recently of ours? Did you take it out? Did you leave it in your account
Yeah,
in the stock market? Because this is real money. that
right.
you're dealing with.
So I actually, I was up about $1,800 so far with you guys.
Wow.
Um,
we can go into that. We'll talk
Yeah,
about that
okay,
stuff. But I wanted to kind of point out because this isn't Bitcoin. This is real money. So
Right.
you were able to
Oh
take
yeah,
it out
no,
right
no,
away,
for
right?
That must
sure.
have been a huge relief when you
So
could
yeah,
get in and get
no,
out.
I
and take your
made my
in.
money. I
and you actually
sold the
took some out.
stock, and I
we don't
put,
take our money out, so it's different. I want
right.
people to realize
I
you
put
can
the
actually take your
money
out.
right in my bank account. It was literally there within like less than a day, basically.
That's what I'm talking about.
And
Beautiful.
yeah, it was.
Who's your broker?
Uh,
Who do you use?
I
Is it
use
TD?
I use TD Ameritrade,
Nice.
and yeah, it was super simple, super
But
easy to use.
you have run into some problems. So I think we should let's dive into the stock market game with Dave because let's get a little.
I'm down.
Because a lot of people, these beginners, need to hear this stuff. This guy's ran into beginner problems. He's ran into all the situations that everybody should run into. But luckily, he's somehow winning a lot. And I wouldn't say it's luckily. It's because he's really just sticking to what he knows.
It's on
Yeah.
the right path.
He's sticking to really what he knows and what we know. And the biggest thing is with
I
us.
like that you already kind of created like a little system where like you like you
His
know
own
your work
strategy.
schedule. Yeah, exactly. You know
Right.
when you look at the chat at the right times.
That's
you know about
important,
the
dude.
sniper scope. You know you're gonna come back at 30 somehow. Somewhere.
Being disciplined is not only about buying and selling at the right time, it's also about knowing your atmosphere where you're trading
exactly.
and how many day trades you're gonna have and what's going on. So being disciplined, because you can sit when you're off one day, you can sit there and stare at a stock and you're obviously gonna want to buy it all day, but you got to be disciplined with the right setup. And you're kind of finding a setup that honestly we're not even. I mean, we succeed in it, but you're going with these, I guess, really low float companies that we kind of been sticking out, and those have kind of been traveling for you in a right direction. That's kind of what you like? Is that the strategy you're taking?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely one of them.
It's even like paying attention to breakouts too. A lot.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely
like the resistance breakouts.
the resistance breakouts and things of that nature. You know, I really do like. You know, in a recent trade, A&W.
A&W. Real quick disclaimer. This is why we got into A&W. I don't know if you guys noticed.
Cheers, boys. Everyone should have an A&W. Where's yours, Dave?
Oh, I got it.
Shout out A&W.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out A&W.
You know, it ran up pre-market, you know, real high, and throughout the, you know, and then just was going down most of the day, but then it just kept building and building and building.
Getting
And
that support.
You like that in the afternoon? It kept on building that support.
that's been my favorite play so far. Is it does build that support.
Building that afternoon support going at the highs.
Wait,
Yeah.
so you realize, okay, so you figuring out your strategy, because we're kind of jumping forward. I want to know, because beginners, we have so many people that are reaching out to us on social media, different places in person that never invested in before, never done stock market, stuff like that. So when exactly did you start with us? The exact date?
So I started with you guys back in April.
Okay, and you had no stock market experience, right?
No,
And no finance
all.
experience besides
Just
the
the
Bitcoin?
Bitcoin?
correct.
And no, like, school, you didn't go to school for finance or anything like that?
I did have some finance, but it's not anything close to what.
That's what
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing to do
So
with
you had
what
the in
need.
general finance
Right,
experience.
but so
Learn about taxes, still don't know about them.
right. You know, goes in one ear out the other. I guess.
Oh shit.
But no, so I was back in April, and I went to.
That's when the
went to-
website started,
I
so
went
you
to a
started
couple
with
meetings.
us.
Went to a couple meetings with you guys, and you know, honestly, was just kind of like jumping into trades. I really wasn't. You know, like I understood some concepts and stuff like that I was learning, but I just kind of was jumping into some trades, and like I think I made a trade that I got like $80, and I was like, okay.
How much money did you start with when you first jumped in?
I started with around 2,500, and
Nice, dude.
you know, within
that's a
a
good amount. That's what we recommend. 25 to 3 grand is perfect.
awesome.
Yeah, that's
Exactly what we want.
Right.
3 grand, they actually TD will give you free trades. So you were kind of $500 off.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
And
I
we
didn't tell you that. My bad.
Yeah,
They give
3,500
you
more.
like 100 trades.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you can call them.
And you could have referred us too and gave us like
Man,
50
good
No,
job,
but
guys.
no, next time, I mean, now you guys know, if you guys do, because that's why we recommend 25 to 3 grand. That's a great solid point. 3 grand actually will get you like 100 free trades, which is $8 saving you in and out. So that will save you a decent amount of money just for future
Right.
people. But you're still making money with the $8. So I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you lowered your fees because you're
Dude, I
trading
think,
a lot. But
your mentality, the way you went in, is the right way to approach it. You know, you got to go in there really just making trades. You just want to make trades and not scared to really lose.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. You're
But
just trying.
Just learning throughout the way, and then if you see you make $100 here, you're like, oh damn, all right. How am I gonna make that $100? Like let's keep on finding those, and you know, if you just stick to that and stay away from the ones that you know aren't gonna work out.
Right. No,
It's really about that discipline.
exactly. And
So-
I definitely was kind of lacking that at first. You know, I think within a week or two, I was down like.
well, dude, you fucking dove in.
Right.
you don't
Yeah,
need
exactly.
that.
right
Dude,
in.
that's like
But
imagine
I
like
recommend
going
it.
to the court
Yeah,
and like just
it's
shooting
not.
hoops out of nowhere. You never picked up a basketball.
Yeah.
Before. Like imagine.
So,
that.
so I think, you know, obviously, you know, I did end up losing like $400, and
Wow, so you
know,
did that what? So
at
in
first.
April? So in April.
in
you did
April.
that.
So I just
So you
kinda,
invested, you made the $80 the first trade.
and then I just like kept, you know, making
Yeah.
a few trades here and there, but like,
Beating the bush.
So you're
but-
losing.
but yeah. So
Learning.
So I just kind of like,
Learning,
I just
learning,
kind of
not
like
losing, not
Seriously.
losing.
learning. Exactly.
Exactly.
So I just kind of like didn't look at it for a while, honestly. Like I still
Yeah,
would be active,
yeah,
and I'd still
yeah.
make a few trades here and there. And like
Yeah.
I did make a little bit
You
of
got
money.
scared away right away in the first month?
Yeah. I mean, I just,
Wow.
you know, I just.
And that's big. No, no.
I think it's about. I think for me, it's, you know, you gotta like humble yourself in the sense of like,
Yeah, you're
you know,
right.
I just kind of like jump in here and I'm like, oh, well, this is easy, blah
You
blah
gotta
blah.
put more effort into it.
It
you know?
does-
If you want to come back to it and continue to do this, you need to put more effort into it to make sure you know this works.
And most
Right.
people present it like that. I mean, obviously with us, you're gonna see on our Instagram and our social media, we're posting our wins. We're posting big wins because we make money, but we are losing. So when you're just looking at our Instagram and social media, you obviously think it's a little easier than normal.
Right.
There is a lot of effort that gets put into what we do. We want to. You got to realize that this is not something you, like you said, you just dive in. You got to go to the court and practice your shot over and over again.
Yeah.
You can't just jump in. And you missed, I guess, a whole bunch of shots at first.
Right.
Got scared away and decided to come back to the court. And that's the biggest
Yeah.
thing. You didn't get like shooken away. And that's what a lot of. There's 90% of investors that fail. It's a known fact. 90% of the and 10% succeed of people in the stock market. So those 90%, a big part of those people are the ones that get shooken away in their first or second attempt of jumping in.
Right.
Because losing $300 is a big shakeout. Luckily, you lost 20K in Bitcoin, so it probably wasn't that bad.
So you're used to
Rub it in again.
I'm sorry.
That's
but I'm
actually a
just
blessing
saying
in
that
disguise,
probably,
maybe.
like, it was probably your blessing. No, because you need that, and that's what
sure.
helped
You
us.
need to see
Yeah.
that.
That's. I mean, I always tell people diving in and losing is one of the best things. If you dive in and just win right away, like we did in Bitcoin and marijuana stocks, you're gonna think you know it all,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
So losing and getting punched in the gut. We can't emotionally do that to you until you lose. You can play with paper money. Like
Right.
you can play with the TD Ameritrade lets you play with paper money. So
Yeah,
if you want to be
yeah.
a member of ours, you can be a member and play with paper money to learn. But paper money is emotionless. It's kind of like free
Right.
poker,
Yeah.
where you kind of you're gonna go wild at times. You're not gonna go wild. You're not really have your $300.
No
that
skin
you
in the
lost.
game, actual skin in the game.
So when you lost that 300, you got punched in the stomach in April, right? And you
Yeah.
kind of walked away for a little bit.
I just
Luckily, it
kinda
didn't knock you out.
Right.
Was that 300 over multiple trades? Like it wasn't off one trade, right?
No, it was over I think like four
Okay.
different trades.
Nice.
That's
And
cool.
dude,
So, but
That happened
nice.
to us, man. And that goes exactly because that happened to us. I think it was about a year ago. If you look at our profit lead, so we post everything on Instagram, our wins and stuff. But if you want to see every single thing, wins, losses, all that stuff, we all have it's a profit lead. You got to go on profit
Yeah,
lead. Don't
go on
believe
Profit
any of these
Lead. And
fakes out
all
there.
of it's verified
There's
on there.
people out there that are gonna post everything, their wins and all this stuff. But if you don't have one of these, it's hard for me to trust you in a way. Because these is every single trade that we've made in our whole history. You can watch it from 2 years ago. So if you watch a year ago from now, we actually got caught in a situation. It was called a halt. I mean, for new investors, you might get caught in this situation as well. We actually lost. I think it was around 2,000. We were up. I think around like 500 to
Yeah, we were up a
600.
good amount.
And then it got halted for like a week, and it disappeared to. It went from like a couple dollars to like a cent. So we lost around $2,000, and it was almost hard for us to bounce back for a second.
Yeah.
But we were able to jump back right away, and that's a huge thing because that could have knocked us out. We could have been stuck at 10K.
Right,
Yeah.
That was when we were at 10K.
No, to Al's point, I think it's awesome. Like just at the beginning, just basically fight to stay in the game for a little bit, kind of learn like where you're really gonna strive and shit like that.
Yeah, you gotta figure it out. Like you gotta.
Yeah, like I like your risk reward's definitely getting better. Like the risk reward that we've been like implementing, as far as like risk being way lower than reward. Like it seems like that's been a lot better because like I think your biggest loss is like 100, right, or something.
Yeah,
And
it
your
was.
biggest win is.
Yeah, it was like 140.
Wow, really?
you know,
That was
it
your biggest loss.
Yeah, it was something that kind of like ran up in the morning, and I was trying to like hop on the train. I
Were you
guess.
too excited?
Did you stay
Yeah.
disciplined into your cut point and stuff, or did you let it fly?
I let it go a little bit more,
Yeah,
but
see?
again, but it was one of
It's
those.
alright.
It was one of those things where like I just kind of learned. I kind of noticed how it just kept. It would like go down and then like stay constant for a little bit and then go down again, and it just was like a pattern I recognized. So now when I see that happening, I just avoid
So you're
that
following
completely.
kind of the
Yeah.
same patterns. You're realizing these things repeat.
Right, and that's something that I
That's
know.
what's
Like
sweet.
like
That's what's sweet about this
I could
market.
sit here and be like, yeah, it's gonna go back up, but it's not.
But
Yeah,
the-
because
but
there's
it's-
other ones that will go the way that you've seen before,
Right.
you know? So it's like,
So that was, I mean, but it's part of the learning. Like it definitely, like I know when I see that pattern now, I'm gonna be a lot more careful and not just jump into something. I know that's
we
something.
analyze it a little more.
I know that's something you guys definitely preach to patience, and there's been a few times where I've jumped the gun and
Pay the price.
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But it's still 140
Learn.
compared to what was your biggest one?
My biggest win was about like $735.
Wow. What was
That's
that?
awesome.
That's
A&W,
GBR,
cheers.
right?
Yeah, it was GBR.
It wasn't
It
A&W.
wasn't A&W.
But you were close. What was A&W?
A&W was
Yeah, we gotta do that.
Yeah, we got to cheers.
Actually,
Actually bought us this. They bought us this A&W today. Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, dude.
Hey, where'd your A&W go, bro? Huh?
Wow, we got one
Oh,
in the
he's
water.
fishing for him. He's fishing. Oh, all right.
Cheers, boys. Cheers. Cheers, guys.
With the GBR, it
I'm getting
had,
drunk off this beer, dude.
it had a little. I think it had a little.
like your fifth one.
This is great. Like crushing them.
Yeah, man.
I might need this for market time.
Sponsor us if you see this. A&W. We're ready for you.
Yeah.
I think GBR had a little run up in the
It
morning.
was last Friday, right?
Yeah, had a little run up in the morning, and then it like kind of went down a little bit, and then I saw it building back up, and I don't know. I was really feeling the support that it had already made.
Love that.
And it was actually kind of like a midday trade too, which
And you got out early, I would say.
Yeah,
Not early, but you took the meat of the
I got
meat.
in at around 3:06, and I got out at like 4:11, and
So that's about an hour.
it was about an hour.
How much did you make?
That's awesome.
$735.
How much did you put in it?
Great.
About 2,200.
Where else are you finding that, David? A drug deal.
Yeah. well,
Are you
trying
a drug dealer?
to keep it legal. Now, you know what I'm saying?
And it's legal, right? Well, you do have to pay taxes on it.
Right.
We do have to warn
But,
you on
at
that.
the end of the day-
Unfortunately,
at the
Uncle
end of the
Sam
year,
just take around.
But again, you know, like that was me. You know, that was me. Like okay with taking risks because I want to like that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like I want to see like
Wanna see.
I want to see what's gonna happen. Like if I see something that I'm like, all right, let's see.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So that's kind of what I did on a few of these, and you know that happened to actually run midday, which I had never done before. I never really made a trade that was like going. I think it was like 11:30 or 12.
Yeah, yeah.
I
No,
never
but
really.
Sometimes those do play out.
I think a big reason why he was doing this, did you have a plan going into the trade?
I mean, I saw that it was going back up.
And
so
it
what
broke, I remember it
yeah.
broke the day high at the
Yeah.
end of the day at 3 o'clock.
Right, so
which
I
is
just-
what we preach.
So I just went with it, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I still have a lot
I think
to
where did the
learn.
stock go? It went from 3 to 6 in that day.
Oh, it went up
And
a
you
lot.
took it to like from 3 to 4.
Yeah, no, it went up a lot more
Yeah.
than when I actually took it up at.
But
I think I remember actually I was complaining in this chat. I was like, it went back up again, higher than when I got it. But you know, like, you know, it was. I mean,
you stuck to your.
I made more than
Exactly.
I made more with that
Stuck
trade than I did in a day of my job. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean-
An hour. Sometimes you have to like bring yourself,
Right.
humble yourself a little bit, and be like, "Holy shit, I'm up $300 in a fucking
So
30 minutes."
yeah, it was. That was my best trade, and I remember I was just freaking out while it was going on. But
Weren't you
happy-
going on vacation or something like that day or something?
Oh yeah.
You were about to leave.
Well, that was
great
a
text. That was a
different,
great text.
the different trade I had
different
made. Like a week prior, one of the first bigger trades I made. I held something overnight, and I got out with
which one this was.
$225, and I was actually taking my girlfriend to Sanibel.
With an extra
With
225.
literally that same day, I pulled the money out.
Yes, sir.
So
right away, dude. That's
you
the
know,
best
I
part
was,
about it.
you know, so I felt. I mean, I was like, wow, I got an extra $25. So
And luckily you went to Sanibel. Here in Miami, that's like 2 shots.
yeah, no, it was a lot more drinks allowed in Sanibel.
I'm really proud of Dave of what he's able to do
Yeah,
with his
definitely,
discipline. Because us three, our hardest thing when we were learning was finding when to take out our profits, when to sell our cuts, and really you've stuck to your plan. Even though some of these things run more than they run, you took your profit when you needed to take your profit, and you cut your losses. Because if you let these things run and you be greedy, the next time you might want to be greedy again, and then it gets shook out. And,
Which I've noticed a few times already with things I've watched. That, like I'm like, oh, this is running, and then it runs, and then it's just like straight down.
Yeah.
So I've definitely noticed that as well.
I thought you were a little bit of that better discipline. Even though you're only three months old.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
You know?
So how much you turned at 2,500 to how much?
I'm up $1,800 total, so it's at 4,200.
That's great.
Awesome.
You know, there are obviously some losses in there as
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
but no, I've
Beautiful.
been
And
great.
How long was that? Like,
That's about.
was it like?
Because you took the April break, so
I guess
2
it's.
months.
I guess it's been about 3 weeks.
No way.
Wow.
So you took a good
Because
break
I went
in
on
April.
vacation. Yeah, I went on vacation like June 8th or June 9th, I think. So maybe
And that was
almost a
like your
month.
first big win, right?
Yeah, yeah,
When
so
you went
almost
on
a month.
vacation. I remember that because you were so pumped about it.
Yeah.
going on vacation.
So that was almost a month.
So an
and,
extra 1,800. Fantastic.
I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, I mean, crap, if I had an extra 500 a month, I mean, honestly, like, because, but, you know, like, because
Yeah.
for me, like, I don't know, it could just, that's extra money.
And this is what I want everybody to
That's a
realize.
good goal. I like that.
There are so many people out there that are coming out of college, just have normal jobs that aren't they're happy with their life, but they want a little bit of a bonus, and then they go home and they watch Netflix all day, or they go home and they do some other shit they make an excuse why they complain all day about
Yeah.
them not having money in a situation. So you, in another situation, you took it full advantage of what we have, our membership, and you learned from it. You
And
just
I-
decided to learn from it, and you're a normal person. You're a normal person.
Yeah.
Normal people ask me all the time, oh, you can invest in stocks? You can invest in stocks. Because people think it's a corporate thing, you know? It's not
I
a
think
corporate
what
thing.
you said though about putting in the effort's true. Like I'm not gonna lie. There's definitely been years of my life when I was younger where I would just be watching Netflix all the time, which isn't a bad thing. Don't get me wrong.
No, I mean, shout out to Netflix.
Shout out to Netflix.
They make a lot of money because people like you.
You know,
No,
but,
I'm just kidding. We all watch Netflix. We all watch
but you know,
Netflix.
but you're right though. It has to become like a thing you kind of want, and you kind of push yourself to learn more. And so over the years, like that's what it's become for me. You know, especially over the last month when I've really been getting into it. Like, so I definitely understand that, and you just got to push yourself.
And it's just the beginning, honestly. If you look at it, you know, from your perspective, I felt the same way. Even when we were growing, when we had, you know, $2,000, $3,000, and we were growing from nothing. It's a grind, you know. And as you grow, you know, now you have double the account size. You put a little bit more into each trade, you know. And it's just all proportional. And, you know, if you believe in the strategy and you believe that it's going to work, you just stick to the plan, you know. And there's nothing you can do that this is going to change what the stock is going to do. So if you just have your plan and set, and you get into the right probability setups, you can't go wrong. The account is exponentially going to grow. You know? And you got to believe in yourself in that way, you know, and that's how you got to take the losses. And anytime you take the loss, you take it proud, knowing that you're cutting losses you got in at a bad time or at the wrong time.
Yeah, we're not perfect. I mean, look at our profit. How many losses do we have? We're like 50, 40%.
Oh,
how much do we? Our win-loss ratio is like 50-50.
I mean, don't quote me on this. You have to look up the exact number, but I think the last time the last time I checked, it was if your risk-reward ratio is 2 to 1, you could be trading at 43%, only winning 43% of trades to break even. In our risk ratio for the most part, the stocks we get are higher than 2 to 1. You know, the reward is higher than 2.
So we've turned 500 into over 50,000 with a 50% win ratio. So if you think about how it's nothing, it's just sticking to the plan. It's just the same proportional exponential growth over time, you know. And if you just stick to the plan,
honestly,
it's amazing.
It's mind blowing. We don't like to brag about it. We're honestly not that, because this is the beginning of our journey. Yeah. But think about it. 500, add 2 zeros.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And that shit doesn't happen overnight.
No. Yeah, but that's what you gotta love too. What's cool about this game?
It's possible.
It all comes down to the work. You know, putting in, wanting to actually do it, actually sit down, stay disciplined a little bit. But what's cool is like if you get good at this, the return is you make money.
Right.
You know, it's like if you get good at ball right now, you can go to LA and get picked up.
LA Fitness?
Yeah, you can go to LA Fitness and get picked up. Or if you're really good, who knows? Maybe 30, you're coming back. LA Fitness.
One year, $1 million contract.
Yeah, but we're actually really disappointed, Braun. You should have came back to Miami. What's up?
We missed you, boy.
I was messed up.
But to your point with the winning and losing your trades, like it is helpful that you guys are fully transparent with.
Yeah, people think that you're just going to go out there and get the wins. It's not all great.
And I think when people see that, I mean, it builds trust, because like that's the thing, like you're going to win some. It's true. Like I think in general, like like. Of course.
Leave him hang. He's a loser. No, but it's true though. I mean, you see a lot of people on the internet, and you don't know if they're true or not. I mean, the same stuff could be about us. You guys can think that's about us, but join it. Check us out.
I think something I've learned
what's going on.
is that like nothing like making money. It's not easy. Like there's nothing there's nothing that you're gonna you're not just gonna become a millionaire the next day because you did it's just not.
It's a gambler's mindset.
And that's
literally a gambler's mindset. Like they're gonna take money and double it right away. That's being a gambler, and that was a cool thing, I guess, to bring up, because my parents don't believe in this game, and a lot of your parents probably don't believe in this game because they think it's gambling.
Yeah, exactly.
They say it's gambling.
Well, if you have a plan, our dad got burnt on like a penny stock. I feel like someone just like talked him into it, but he actually invested in it. Like he didn't a lot of.
He didn't get in and out. He just like holding on to it.
Yeah, like it's like he talked to the guy, and the guy was like, this is the next thing, So it's like I feel like a lot of older people had that bias, because I feel like a lot of them also got sucked into that same trap.
Tough. It's very, very tough. As a beginner investor, it's very tough not to fall in love with a company when you got articles coming out constantly.
Like Movie Pass.
Pumped articles coming out telling you that this is going to be the next thing. You got people saying that there's tons of money coming in. You're a brand new investor. You can barely even read these articles. We've been there before. We fell in love with companies. I used to invest in Rite Aid. Used to invest in Microsoft. We've been there. We loved companies at one point. You loved Bitcoin at one point.
Mike loved Rite Aid.
Yeah, Rite Aid. And actually made
For a
money off
while.
that.
He was
but that
invested in Rite Aid for a
sophomore year,
while.
so like 6 years ago. But that's how that's how you notice investments. But you fall in love with companies, and you fell in love with Bitcoin. And then what happens when you fall in love with them? Everything that goes up usually comes down.
Right.
So fuck falling in love. Sorry for the language.
With
You're
these penny
18
stocks.
and you're
Well, that's
watching.
the
Even
thing.
though with these penny stocks, it's
Marry.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You gotta
like,
marry
it's-
the strategy.
You
You gotta
able to
marry
jump
the
in the stock
strategy,
market
rather.
and now fall in love with one stock. You haven't fell in love with one
Oh,
stock.
yeah.
You barely even know their names.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
Like, what does A&W actually do? Like, it's not the root beer company.
Yeah, we haven't figured that
What
out.
does it do? I mean,
It's definitely not the root
I
beer
did
company.
look
It's like an oil
yeah,
company.
good news and it gapped up big.
But that's the thing.
China tariff.
You're right. Like I like with the Bitcoin and stuff. Like even if I'm like believing in the technology or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like it's not going up. So after a while, you create this like false sense of hope. You know, with this, like I'm not.
It's not nothing to do with that.
I'm not as concerned with like what's gonna actually happen with the company. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, good news is great for the company and stuff, but like that's just not my concern right now. Like, I'm not looking. I do have investments in like a 401k that's long term, that's in
fun, sounds
companies
fun.
that I do think is gonna grow.
It's a big thing though.
But this is not. This is a totally different.
In the ballgame.
Yeah.
Like
It's a good thing to know. We're not looking at it. We're not looking at whatever. It's just situational. We're in and out within hours or days in this company. So, you know, it's just capitalizing. We're capitalizing on the situation that is at hand.
When you see a company on the watch list, that doesn't mean we're watching them to be the next out.
Right.
Yeah, like I actually, like we
A lot of
actually
people
went
think
to
that
a,
at first.
We went to a convention and we met somebody who was in a penny, like who owned a penny stock company, DigiPat, that we traded. I don't know
It's a
how he
marijuana
was
penny
gonna
stock,
feel
yeah.
about. Like I told him, like we just use your shit just to basically get in and
Oh.
out, man. Like I don't know how he felt
All
about
those
that,
guys.
but dude. Maybe I feel like he knows. Like the way that these stocks move, it's almost like it looks like people know because they just keep repeating. Like it looks like people are just like making it happen again.
Yeah.
I feel like he even knows. Like, you know, like people are just getting in and out. You know, playing that game.
And that's
So
why we're not falling in love. We're
they
here.
pump it
We're-
real quick. They
we're
get
here.
that quick pump, and then it comes back down.
The meat of the move. Exactly what you're doing. $3 to $4.
Yeah,
Fuck the
because
3 to
you've
6.
never even any of your
And
moves.
that's
They've
it.
never been at the bottom to the top, right? They've always been like.
It's hard to pick. It's hard to
that's-
pick that bottom, and
yeah.
it's hard to pick that top.
Well, I feel like sometimes like you see something hit a high, and you're like, well, I'm not gonna have a chance at it now, but you basically always have a chance
And you do.
because you just wait and you see how the stock goes the rest of the day.
That's a good point.
You know, like
that is a good
That's
that-
being patient.
Like at first, I was definitely like getting scared when it hit high because it's not gonna go any higher. But it's
Yeah.
you know you see how it goes and the patience thing. You know, it just yeah. And then you hit it in the afternoon and you're like, all right, well it's coming back up. Let's go.
And you're seeing companies up 100% in a day, right?
Oh yeah. I think it was
Sweet.
I think like
Just gives you that
200-300%. Like
crazy
stuff you
money.
see and you're like,
Didn't even think it's possible. But it gives you opportunity, you know, those leanings.
It's not on CNBC.
Right.
CNBC is never going to show this, unfortunately. They're not going to show this opportunity.
They'll
I mean,
always
because
have
it's
to.
risky, because there's a lot of people in America that like to gamble, and they'll take that overnight, try to take it to $1 million. But if you have a plan,
right.
I mean, you can get burned quick in this game. Don't get me wrong. You can get burned very quick without a strategy.
Yeah.
Protect the boat. Protect the ship.
Protect the boat.
Yeah, exactly.
Protect the boat.
Always
That is the
protect
biggest
that
thing.
boat.
Yeah.
No one trade is worth the battle. Protect the boat.
That's what I've been doing. I've been, really trying to be disciplined and stuff like that, and using this as a way for me to, make some side money. I have some credit cards I want to pay off, like, just things in general, like, maybe I want to like get my hair cut like more often. Maybe
I like that, dude.
People have
Know yourself a little
different,
bit.
people have different
How do you
reasons
save?
why they
How
want
do you
to.
save up the 2,500 just like here and there?
Yeah,
a
that's
couple
big. A
paychecks,
lot of
or
people don't
put it
have-
aside or
I mean,
something?
get that.
Yeah. I mean,
gotta be
I had
money.
some already saved up, but I did, I just for a couple paychecks, I just put them on a little money aside, decided not to eat out. Like that's the thing. Like I really do feel like if you want something, you have to give up something.
You gotta save a little money.
Right. So that's what I would do. Like I just,
Sacrifice.
and like, I got to a point where
I remember you talked about trying to work for a little bit.
yeah. I mean,
I think
we've
it
been
was your
talking
tax
about.
returns, though, that helped you out a little bit.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
you were saying your tax returns.
That's yeah.
That's a boost.
Tax returns.
So that helps out.
You might not get any this year.
Obviously,
You have to pay.
$2,500 because we are normal people. We understand we're getting paid $16 an hour. I mean, you're probably getting paid more. You're a little older, but it happens. It's hard to save that money, but it's possible as Americans.
Yeah.
You need to do it if you want it. Like you're saying, it's possible to put that money aside. I mean, at first it's going to be rough and you have to sacrifice some things, but once you have the money, you can do it because we don't want you jumping in this game with money that it's like your rent money. Like it's,
Yeah,
we
you
don't
can't-
want
yeah.
you
It can't
because
be
then
too
you're
much
stressing
pressure.
out
Yeah.
every day.
Too
You're
much pressure
freaking
for this
out.
kind of.
We don't want that guy in our game. We really want the guy that wants to make extra side money and
Chip
hey,
away and never
eventually
learn.
maybe be his own boss. And,
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And do
Turn
it
into
full
something
time,
like
you know?
that.
Because this is something you can do wherever you want.
I know.
If it was Monday to Friday right now, we could be trading in
Yeah, the
jacuzzi.
convenience of it is the
And it's right on your
hours.
phone. Are you trading on your phone too?
Yeah.
Just on your phone?
I
You don't-
honestly,
you
I,
don't trade it on
I
your
honestly
phone as
don't
well?
even think I've logged into the computer at all.
That's great.
like I really don't think I have
that.
actually
Made
at
a
all.
trade
love
up.
that.
Like,
That's great.
I haven't
man.
at all.
love that.
You
That's
know,
huge.
you know, I'll look at it sometimes at the meetings. I'll log
Yeah,
into
on the
the
computer,
Swim
yeah.
on the computer, but
Yeah,
no.
but
It's a
it's
great computer app, but yeah. let's do-
Everything I've
yeah.
literally done is on the
Traded on
phone.
it.
I,
All on the
I
phone.
honestly shout out TD, Ameritrade,
Shout out
because
TD. We love
without
you guys.
them,
Think or
Reach out to
swim.
us. We love
Think
you
I
guys.
don't
or
know
swim.
what they're doing there.
Yeah.
They're making some genius stuff. I don't know what
Yeah,
it is.
it's super.
Their platform, mobile platform.
It's great. It's great. But yeah, dude, so good stuff, man. You're
Hey, I'm
doing
proud
it,
of
my
you,
man,
bro.
dude.
This is
man.
the
You
beginning
saved
of
up the
your
money,
journey,
now
man.
you're in the game, bro. You're
It's the
doing
beginning
it.
of your journey, dude.
Super excited for you, man. So to conclude it, you started with 25, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then in the last 3 weeks, you turned it into what?
It's up about $1,800.
So at like 40,
43.
43,
Almost 100%.
All
About
right.
75%. You're
I
almost
like
getting
that
it,
in the
dude.
3 weeks. And,
Yeah.
Did you hold on? You said almost 100% on your money in 3 weeks.
Yes.
Where do you hear that?
Yeah.
Where do you see
I
that?
and that's
Apple ain't doing
you know you see it you see it happening and you're like, well, you know, it's kind of like in general, like I feel like when I work out and I see progress on my like you see it and you're
see
like,
it,
let me
and
work
you
harder.
get hungry for it.
And
I
that's-
love
and
that.
that's kinda what-
exactly what you need to have.
And that's kind of what's going on here. Like
Yeah.
I'm seeing
Yeah.
results.
And you're hungry.
And I
but you
just-
see the potential.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I think that's what it is. Like, you know, you just it's that little push at the beginning for me, and then after that it's sky's the limit.
I need you to promise me one thing, though.
What's that?
You're doing great at your free throw and you keep shooting and you're making. Do not stray away and go shoot a random three-pointer, deep three-pointer.
Unless I'm Steph
Don't
Curry.
blow your account. Stick to what you know.
Throw some half-court
Please,
stuff.
please. You're
No,
doing
for
great,
sure,
but
for
it's
sure.
very possible to get overexcited.
Even on Fridays when you're super
and
excited for the
overconfident.
weekend.
And overconfident. So stay level-headed,
It's all right.
and you'll be surprised.
Even though
And those are all good.
So you
good
promise me that,
learning
Dave?
experiences if
You
do
won't
that.
blow it
I
up.
will.
no matter what,
Stick to what you do.
even if
because
you
you're
do
doing
get
great.
a big size loss, you have to also promise that you will not get down about it. I mean, you can get
Pay
down
for the
about
game
it,
a
but
little
you know, just
long as you stuck to the plan.
it's the tuition, the cost of tuition right there. Your lesson is learned, you move on, and you get better on the next one.
And those two things will bring your account a long way.
If you stick with that, you're gonna keep on getting these spurts where you're hitting very nice.
Yeah.
So
So dude, this is awesome.
plays just
Super-
fall in your lap.
Yeah.
So
No, exactly.
coming.
Dude, just super excited to have you. And thanks,
Yeah,
man.
thanks for
Yeah.
coming for the
Excited
first
to keep
Tub
trading
Talk.
with you.
First
man.
time.
Yeah,
I'm
thank you.
honored
First
to be at the
ever.
first Tub Talk.
Yeah, man.
This
Thanks,
is
thanks for
awesome,
bringing the
man.
A&W.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for bringing the A&W.
That was
They're
great.
gonna
You guys
start.
did, dude.
You know, they're sponsoring me
man.
now, so you know.
Right?
Shout out to A&W.
Shout out.
For sure, man.
Good stuff, man. Thanks for
Good work,
you know,
dude. Good
joining
work.
the thing, and we're excited to keep trading with you.
Yeah, definitely.
one more
Looking forward
cheers
to
for
it.
A&W.
Oh, yeah.
One more cheers for you.
Let's keep getting rich together, guys.
Let's do it. Much love, guys.